On his second Ears and Eyes release, The Waters Above, guitarist and composer Phil Schurger continues down the path of monumental storytelling through symbols referencing the cosmos and a curiosity for world cultures. The opening melodic statement sets the scene, which is followed by solo sections and interludes crafted to continue the development of the ebbs and flows of the broader story. The album opens with the streaming linear composition Scorpio. The music gives the listener the image of moving through a maze, in which each turn leads to another set of questions, grasping towards a point of arrival. Once the end of the maze is seen, the lines build intensity, ascending as they rush towards it. The interaction between all of the members of the group can be described as complex and intense, dynamic and playful. As with his first release, Echoes of the Ancestors, each composition is multidimensional and episodic. Anikulapo is a Yoruban word meaning he who carries death in a pouch. Schurger first encountered the word through the Afrobeat singer Fela Anikulapo Kuti. The meaning of the word resonated with Schurger, who had encounters with death in his early life. He states, "I had several brushes with death in my early life. As a result of this, I began to look at the concept of death as a driving force for living life with focus and intention, recognizing that time is our only currency in this physical world." These experiences defined my pursuit of both music and meditation. Further, he states, "Music is an offering for the betterment of our collective community through an ongoing dialogue amongst generations of musicians. Meditation is actually quite the same. The depth of the work we do opens doors for those who will come after us." The composition is both vast and mysterious. Quartal chords are used over drones to provide the vast openness of the interludes and solo sections, while the air of the chord melody, which comprises the main body of the composition, is mysterious and questioning. On Motion, the band returns to the intricacies of linear melody. Schurger's compositions Scorpio, Motion, and The Tower, which was released on Echoes of the Ancestors, were all written in the same period when Schurger was exploring complex linear structures derived from moving chords as frameworks for melody. The Waters Above, as an album title, is about the connection between the higher self and the lower self. Specifically, this has to do with meditation practices in which one is linking with a point of light either above the head or at a 45-degree angle in relationship to the eyes. This practice exists in Kabbalah, as well as in Kriya Yoga and Tibetan Tantric practices. The bass groove and drums here are meant to provide contrast and give the melody a foundation to float over. Schurger again plays a chord melody part to fill out the lines played by Ward. The mood is playful and light. This is one of Schurger's few straight-ahead pieces in which the form is more akin to a jazz standard. The melody is stated, and because of the length of the form, each soloist only takes one chorus through. The music relaxes into the groove of the rhythm section and the melody is restated. The inspiration for Yoruba came from one of Schurger's early African-American musical mentors, Michael Patterson, who was a student of both Kabbalah and West African religions. Patterson had studied Kabbalah with a Panamanian rabbi who showed him common roots in the practices of both forms of spirituality. He introduced Schurger to the music of the Cuban centero Milton Cardona and the concept of the specific use of rhythms as a ritual language. The composition opens with a spacious melody over a bass drum and rubato drums. As the melody contracts, the rhythmic waves of the drums come crashing to a peak to establish time. The melody is restated in time, followed by Ward's solo. Schurger's accompaniment, as in Scorpio, is dynamic and propels the band through the form, highlighting key points of transition. Schurger touches for a moment on his avant-garde roots as his solo enters free, with the rhythm section playing out of time. The trio slowly starts to bring time in as the music becomes more intense and directed. Inclusion is a highly delicate, through-composed work. This is a resting point and perhaps one of the album's highlights because of the sensitivity with which the band plays the music. The melody whispers over moving chords as the drums sculpt delicate passages with mallets throughout. Both Ward and Schurger's solos are played with a high degree of melodic sensitivity over the changes, while the rhythm section complements the atmosphere with a sense of expression that allows the music to breathe. The mood is haunting and still as the delicate last breaths of the saxophone melody hover above the band. The images of all of the song titles culminate in Noga. The linear play and mazes of Scorpio in motion have wound their way to conclusion. The atmosphere of Anikulapo and the rhythms of Yoruba have told their stories. Noga is a Kabbalistic reference to the planet Venus and the Sephira Netzach on the Tree of Life. The path leading from Netzach to Tiferet on the tree is associated with the water sign of Scorpio and the tarot card of death. The opening rubato is a mysterious and dark statement of the melody by Schurger. The ambience is watery in texture, enhanced by the use of thick reverb and flanger. The composition's melody is questioning and contemplative. The quiet reprieve of inclusion brings us into the open waters of Noga. In this manner, the normal everyday mind can become awakened by these higher waters and tap into the pools of wisdom through the intuition. For it is in the abstract mind where the root of innovation dwells, and through the interaction of the waters above and below, new innovations come into manifestation.